Hi, this is Calandra. In this video we will cover graphing lines if you're given a point and a slope. Example A. Graph the line that has a slope of 2/3 that passes through the point 0, -3. Well, as long as we have 2 points, we're going to be able to sketch the graph of our line. So somehow we have to be able to use our slope to get a second point on the line. So first let's start by plotting the point that we have, which is 0, -3. With the slope, when graphing, we can use the rise over run interpretation. So I know that the rise divided by run is equal to 2/3. So the run means that I'm moving 3 in the x direction. So since it's positive, that means if I go to the right 3 units, I need to go 2 units in the y direction. In this case, it would be up 2 units, and that would give me another point on my graph. So I'm starting off with an x value of 0. So if I move to the right 3 units, that's going to put me at an x value of 3. And then I want to move up 2 units. So that'll put me at a y value of -1. So we end up at the point 3, -1. And we can continue in that fashion. If you wanted to go to the right 3 more spaces, up 2 spaces, you can continue to get additional points on your graph. But all we needed was 1 additional point, and that's enough for us to sketch our graph. Example B. Graph the line that has slope of -3 that passes through the point 1, 2. So I can start by, again, writing that slope is equal to rise over run. And in this case, we're given an integer, just -3. But any integer can be written as a fraction, so we can put that -3 as being divided by 1. So now I'm going to go over and plot the point that I have. So we have the point 1, 2. And now I need to use the rise over run interpretation of my slope. So I see that I have a positive 1 in the denominator. So that means I know that I'm going to move to the right 1 space. And I have a negative value for my rise, so that means I'll be going down 3 spaces to get another point on my graph. So if I move to the right 1 space, that's going to take me to an x value of 2. But if I move down 3 spaces, that's going to take me down to a y of -1. And now we just need to connect those 2 points. And that gives us a rough idea of what that graph will look like. Okay, so we found a second coordinate at 2, -1. Okay, moving on to example C. Okay, we want to graph the line that has slope of 0 that passes through the point 4, -1. So again, we can start with our slope equal to rise over run. And we have that that's equal to 0. 0 is an integer, so we can write that as being divided by 1. Does not change the value. So this means that if I move to the right 1 space, that I do not go up or down. So there's no movement up or down, since it says to go 0 units. So you may remember from a previous lesson that this means we're going to end up with a certain look for our graph. So let me go ahead and put our point on here, and we'll still examine it the same way that we did the others. Okay, so I have an x value of 4, a y value of -1 that we're starting with. So if I move to the right 1 unit, which would take me to 5, I don't go up or down. So that means I'm staying at 5, -1. So I end up with a horizontal line, something with 0 slope. So it will be flat. Okay, our last example. Graph the line that has no slope that passes through the point -5, 4. So again, you may remember this special case. We don't have 0 slope. No slope means that we end up with a vertical line. So we would just construct our vertical line going through our x value of -5, and that would be it. So if you needed to be convinced, let's say if we looked at one other point on the graph, we know that we have the point -5, 3 on the graph. If you computed your slope, if we did the change in y, so 4 minus 3, divided by the change in x, -5 minus -5, notice the top becomes 1. The bottom, we end up with a -5 plus 5, which gives us a 0 in the denominator, which is undefined. Okay, and that's what we're starting off with, a line with no slope or undefined slope. So that will always be a vertical line.